Imagine a class of 20 students took a short quiz and the scores went from 1 to 5. We record how many students got each score. 2 students scored 1, 5 students scored 2, 8 students scored 3, 4 students scored 4, and 1 student scored 5. So let's try to put this into a table. In the first column, we'll write the marks. Let's list down the marks the students could have got. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, going down the column. In the next column, we'll write the frequency. Now what is frequency? Frequency simply means how many times something happens. In this case, how many students got each mark. So let's fill it in. For frequency column, we now have 2, 5, 8, 4, and 1. That's all frequency is, a count of how many, for each value on its own. Now we're going to add one more column, and this is the important one, the cumulative frequency. This is the word that matters most in this whole topic. Cumulative frequency is a running total. Instead of telling you how many students got one particular mark, it tells you how many students got that mark or below, by adding each frequency to the total of everything before it. Let me build that column so you can see it happening. We start with the first frequency 2, so the cumulative frequency for a mark of 1 is just 2. For a mark of 2, we take that 2 and add the next frequency 5, which gives us 7. For a mark of 3, we take 7 and add 8, which gives us 15. For a mark of 4, we take 15 and add 4, which gives us 19. And for a mark of 5, we take 19 and add the last frequency 1, which gives us 20. So our cumulative frequency column reads 2, 7, 15, 19, and 20. The easiest way to picture this is a snowball rolling down a hill. As it rolls through each group, it picks up more snow, that's the frequency, and it gets bigger and bigger. It never shrinks, it only ever grows or stays the same. And here's the meaning behind a number like 15 in that column. It tells us that 15 students scored 3 or below. That's the whole point of cumulative frequency. It answers how many so far at every stage. The very last number in your cumulative frequency column must always equal the total number of data points, which we call n. Look at the table we just built. It ends in 20, and we started with 20 students. If you ever get anything other than your total, you've made an addition error somewhere. Hi, welcome to My Exam Revision. In this video, we'll be talking about cumulative frequency tables and cumulative frequency graphs. This lesson is divided into 3 sections. In the first section, we'll learn how to draw the cumulative frequency graphs. In the second section, we'll use the graph to find the value of median and the quartiles. And in the third and final section, we'll work through a full exam-style example from start to finish.
I've added timestamps in the timeline below, so if you'd like to skip ahead to a particular section, you can do that easily. I've also included detailed notes in the description. If you'd like to go through the steps more carefully in your own time, you can click the link and follow everything step by step.
Now, let's get started. A school records the marks that students got in a test, grouped into bands of 20. For marks from 0 up to 20, the frequency was 6. For marks more than 20 up to 40, the frequency was 22. For more than 40 up to 60, the frequency was 36. For more than 60 up to 80, the frequency was 45. And for more than 80 up to 100, the frequency was 11. First, exactly as we did in the table at the start, we work out the cumulative frequency. We start with 6. Then 6 plus 22 is 28. Then 28 plus 36 is 64. Then 64 plus 45 is 109. And finally, 109 plus 11 is 120. So our cumulative frequencies are 6, 28, 64, 109 and 120. And that last value, 120, is the total number of students. So we know the table is correct. Now let's draw the diagram, and there are really just 2 things to get right. First, the axes. The cumulative frequency always goes up the vertical axis, the y-axis, running from 0 up to your total, which here is 120. The test mark goes along the horizontal axis, the x-axis, from 0 to 100. Second, and this is the part students get wrong, where do we plot each point? We always plot the cumulative frequency at the end of its group, the upper boundary. Not the middle of the group, the very top end. The reason is simple. The cumulative frequency of 28 means 28 students scored up to 40 marks. We can only be sure we've counted all 28 once we reach 40, the top of that band. So 28 belongs at 40, not at 30. So our points are 6 plotted at 20, 28 plotted at 40, 64 plotted at 60, 109 plotted at 80, and 120 plotted at 100. We also start the curve down at the bottom of the very first group. Nobody scored less than 0, so the curve begins at 0 marks, 0 students, which anchors it to the corner. Then we join the points up. At GCSE, you can join them with straight lines or with a smooth curve. Both are accepted, but a smooth curve is the usual choice and it gives you that lovely stretched out S shape. That smooth curve is what we are going to read values of in the next section. So we know how to draw the diagram. In this second section, we'll use one to find the median and the quartiles. And the good news is, once the curve is drawn, it becomes a tool which we can use to find the median and quartiles. Suppose we have a cumulative frequency diagram showing the number of books read by 12 people. The cumulative frequency goes up the vertical axis and the number of books read goes along the horizontal axis. The curve finishes at the top at a cumulative frequency of 12, which tells us the total is 12 people. Let's start with the median, the middle value. Step 1 is to find the position. The median is at the value n divided by 2, where n is the total. Our total is 12, so 12 divided by 2 is 6. We are looking for the sixth value. Step 2, go to 6 on the vertical axis, the cumulative frequency axis. Step 3, draw a line straight across until it hits the curve, then drop straight down to the horizontal axis. Step 4, read off the value. The curve brings us down to about 3.2, so the median is 3.2 books. Now the lower quartile, which is the value a quarter of the way through the data. Its position is n divided by 4. That's 12 divided by 4, which is 3. So we want the third value. Go to 3 on the vertical axis, across to the curve and down. That reads off at about 2.6. So the lower quartile is 2.6 books. Now the upper quartile, the value 3/4 of the way through. Its position is 3 times n divided by 4. That's 3 times 12 divided by 4, which is 9. So we want the ninth value. Go to 9 on the vertical axis, across to the curve and down. That reads off at exactly 4. So the upper quartile is 4 books. So from one diagram, just by tracing across and dropping down, we've pulled out the median of 3.2, a lower quartile of 2.6 and an upper quartile of 4. No heavy calculation at all. Before we move to the next section, I want to quickly mention something that will help you practice this topic properly. On my website, My Exam Revision, I have created a full worksheet for each topic. It starts with basic foundation questions, then moves on to harder multi-step problems, and finally proper past paper exam style questions, all with step-by-step solutions. I've also built an AI version of myself based on my 14 years of teaching experience in GCSE Maths, A-level Maths and further Maths. You can check the step-by-step solutions, and if you get stuck, you can simply take a photo and upload your working. It will analyze each step, highlight where you went wrong, and even if your final answer is correct, it will still check your method thoroughly. If you're serious about improving your grades, I highly recommend trying it. The link is in the description. Now, let's continue to the next part of the video. Leo drives to work and the table gives the time it took him to get to work on each of 100 days. For times from 0 up to 10 minutes, the frequency was 16. For more than 10 up to 20 minutes, the frequency was 34. For more than 20 up to 30 minutes, the frequency was 32. For more than 30 up to 40 minutes, the frequency was 14. And for more than 40 up to 50 minutes, the frequency was 4. We're asked to draw the cumulative frequency diagram, then use it to estimate the median and the quartiles. You can pause the video for a minute and try to do this question yourself. Let's begin by working out the cumulative frequency, the running total. We start with 16, then 16 plus 34 is 50, then 50 plus 32 is 82, then 82 plus 14 is 96, and finally 96 plus 4 is 100. So our cumulative frequencies are 16, 50, 82, 96 and 100. And the last value is 100, which matches the 100 days, so we know it's right. Notice straight away that 100 is our total. This is the number we'll be working with for the median and quartiles, not the 50 on the axis. A lot of students slip here and have the wrong number, so keep your eye on it. The total is 100. Now we draw the diagram, plotting cumulative frequency up the vertical axis against the upper boundary of each group along the horizontal. So our points are 16 plotted at 10, 50 plotted at 20, 82 plotted at 30, 96 plotted at 40, and 100 plotted at 50. We start the curve at 0 minutes, 0 days, and join everything with a smooth curve. Now let's read off our answers. The median is at n divided by 2. Our total is 100, so that's 100 divided by 2, which is 50. We want the 50th value. Go to 50 on the vertical axis, across to the curve and drop down. The curve comes down at 20, so the median time is 20 minutes. That means on half his journeys, Leo took less than 20 minutes, and on half he took more. The lower quartile is at n divided by 4. That's 100 divided by 4, which is 25. We want the 25th value. Go to 25 on the vertical axis, across and down. That reads off at about 13 minutes. So the lower quartile is roughly 13 minutes. The upper quartile is at 3 times n divided by 4. That's 3 times 100 divided by 4, which is 75. We want the 75th value. Go to 75 on the vertical axis, across and down. That reads off at about 28 minutes. So the upper quartile is roughly 28 minutes. And there's our complete answer. We built the table, drew the diagram, and read off a median of 20 minutes, a lower quartile of about 13 minutes, and an upper quartile of about 28 minutes, all straight from the curve. So that's the whole topic. We learned what frequency and cumulative frequency mean and built a table. We drew the cumulative frequency diagram by plotting against the upper boundary of each group, and we used the curve as a lookup tool to read off the median and the quartiles. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel. We will be bringing out more educational content like this, so make sure to follow the channel. Also, don't forget to try the questions on the worksheet linked in the description. Thank you for watching.